The cost of caring. When I was young and joyfully selfish, my parents were very insistent that I learn to be charitable. The Christian tradition asks that you give 10% of your earnings away to something that is decidedly not about your happiness. And so I was stuck taking a dime from every dollar earned doing chores to put in a separate piggy bank. At some point, I had at least $20 in coins, which I gave to the Salvation Army with a great deal of personal fanfare. We were even forced to do this family tradition where we had to shop for the Christmas wish list of another family. My parents had very little money to spare. As I was piling presents into the shopping cart, marveling at my own generosity at their expense, I paused to ask my father, "How will we know when it's enough?" "Give until it hurts," he says. "Then give a little more." In the last decade or so, our culture has become increasingly ambivalent about whether or not our values should hurt or not. Shouldn't everything make us happy? Doesn't this violate the inviolable laws of self-care? Our culture is so obsessed with boundaries that it pretends we can be untouched by pain and have lives of profound meaning. Take a bath, call a friend. Wait, didn't you want to help save the environment too? Part of the confusion here lies in our understanding of the purpose of pain. Much pain can and should be avoided, even prevented. Abusive relationships, self-harm, brokenness and dysfunction, and pathologies of all kinds. That kind of pain is not part of God's desire for us and violates the deepest, truest thing about us, that we are deeply worthy of all good things, full stop. But there are some virtues we can develop, a people we can become, that require sacrifice. They are not easy flowers. They are like ridiculous hydrangeas, unnecessarily beautiful and temperamental as heck. When we want to grow, there might need to be some pruning, some hackneying at deadening habits and beliefs, some watering and readjusting so we might grow toward the light. I didn't understand until I met nurses that the good work was always going to be costly. My friend, Christy Watson, is a writer and a nurse in the United Kingdom. She had taken a step away from the hospital in order to teach nursing for several years. But during the pandemic, she volunteered to serve on the front lines once again. She absolutely didn't have to, but she felt the overwhelming desire to be of service. The days and nights were grueling, and the death toll was staggering. Christy was exhausted, but undeterred. She explained the brutality this way: "The way you know you are doing your job correctly is that it costs you a part of your own soul. Even with the best self-care practices, the job of any caring professional, be it a nurse or a doctor or a social worker or teacher or chaplain, comes at a steep price. It costs you to care. Caring," she said, "is an occupational hazard. What will good things cost us? Hope costs us the satisfaction of cynicism. Love costs us selfishness. Charity costs us greed. Which is fun, let us be clear. Didn't you see the 1980s Wall Street movies? You could be renting a money hurricane at this very moment. We often see this cost clearly when we feel the weight of our obligations, whether it is in our own careers or in our own homes, caring for kids or aging parents or a disabled spouse. There is no amount of bubble bath, no matter how delicious the scent, that will generate the kind of empathy this work requires. The beautiful, terrible work of seeing one another's humanity up close. A blessing for when caring costs you. Blessed are you who want your life to count, you who do the right things, who hope it will all add up to something. That is some good math. But blessed are you who do terrible, terrible math, you who care about strangers. What a waste. That wasn't going to get you a nicer apartment. You who give your health in service of people who might not even deserve it and who never say thank you. You could have been protecting yourself or, God forbid, sleeping through the night, but you are here instead. Blessed are you who listen to the long, winding stories from lonely hearts instead of rushing off to a more interesting friends. You picked boredom or loving strangers instead of the warmth of being known. That was your time, and you're never going to get it back. Blessed are you who love people who aren't grateful, the sick who endanger your health, the deeply boring who know you have things to do. Loving people can be the most meaningful thing in the world, but it can also be hard and scary and boring and disgusting, or sad or anxiety-inducing with zero overtime. So bless you, dear one, you who made these bad investments, those acts of love that are not going to add up to success in the way the world sees it. You are the definition of love.